I used to matter. There was a time when a room would fall silent the moment I walked in. A time when my name, Izidor Volkov, meant control, respect, power. I was the man who signed contracts with one hand and wiped away my child's tears with the other. I held empires together, made people rich, saved families from ruin. And now? Now, I am a shadow in my own life. 73 years old. That's what the calendar says. My bones feel older. My heart, maybe younger, but betrayed. I live in a worn-down house on the edge of the city, where the buses don't run on time and the weeds grow through the cracks like they've forgotten who owns the land. The house is clean. I make sure of it. The floor creaks, the walls are tired, but the corners are dust-free. That's how I was raised, dignity, no matter what. My children are successful. Big cars. Bigger houses. They speak in appointments and calendar invites. Their love comes through screens, a text now and then, a birthday call read from a script. My grandchildren, they don't really see me. To them, I'm the old man with the slow speech and shaky hands. Visits feel like charity. At the grocery store, the cashier doesn't look up. I hand over cash, she takes it like I'm an inconvenience. In the hospital, they talk around me, over me. One nurse even asked, loud enough for me to hear. Does he even understand where he is? I wanted to scream, I built where you are. But I just smiled. That's what we do when they think we're too old to fight back. Every morning is the same, one sugar cube in my tea. The same brown chair by the window. A TV that plays without sound. The same cracked mug, the same worn slippers. The world moves fast, but I'm a ghost they've forgotten to bury. Some days, I wonder if I died and no one noticed. But not all of me is gone. There is a spark. A flicker. It started as a whisper, a tiny pulse in the back of my mind. Like the faint tremor of a distant storm. Now, it grows stronger. You see, what they don't understand is this, I haven't lost my mind. I've been watching. Listening. Waiting. They think age is weakness. That silence means surrender. They are wrong. I remember every slight. Every insult. Every turn back, every fake smile. I remember the doctor who mocked my hearing, the banker who said, we don't usually see clients your age, the neighbor who pretended not to hear me ask for help lifting a box. I remember my son, my own blood, letting my call go to voicemail. I write it all down. Dates. Names. Faces. This isn't bitterness. This is memory. And memory is power. They see a frail old man in a dusty coat, drinking tea and fading away. But inside, something is shifting. Waking. A quiet, cold hunger. Not for blood, no. That would be too easy. Too loud. What's coming is smarter. Sharper. Darker. And when it arrives, they won't even realize who pulled the first thread. I am not done. I am not gone. I am the silence before the reckoning. There was a time I didn't have to raise my voice. My silence spoke louder than most men's shouting. I remember those days the way a soldier remembers war, not with nostalgia, but with fire. The boardrooms. The handshakes. The betrayals that tasted like expensive whiskey and came from smiling mouths. I built Volkov Industries from nothing. Not from inherited wealth or lucky breaks, from grit. From instinct. From nights without sleep and days without mercy. I knew every brick, every document, every risk. I was the kind of man who remembered the janitor's name but would fire a partner without blinking if he crossed the line. The 90s were chaos. Wild. Lawless. While others ran, I stayed. I protected people. I took on debts I had no reason to, just to keep someone's house from being taken. I gave my children what no one gave me, a future. I paid for my son's degree with a second mortgage. I covered my daughter's startup failure without saying a word. I buried mistakes, theirs, not mine, so deep the world would never smell the rot. They never asked how. They never thanked me. But I remember. I remember the partners who smiled to my face, only to steal behind my back. I remember dragging my company through crisis, through scandal, through storms. I outmaneuvered politicians. I stared down men with power and no conscience. I made myself unbreakable. People forget that leadership is loneliness. They see the suits, the speeches, the press. They don't see the nights when the phone doesn't ring, the friends who disappear once they've taken what they need. I was never naive. I didn't need love. I needed respect. And I had it. But respect is a fragile thing. It doesn't die, it decays. Slowly. Quietly. Like rust. One day you wake up, and the phone is still silent, but not because they fear you. Because they've moved on. They forgot. They forgot the sacrifices. The times I stood between them and disaster. The times I was the wall between their world and the wolves. And now, when I walk into the same buildings I helped build, no one lifts their eyes. The receptionist offers me a seat like I'm a charity case. My name, once carved in glass, is gone. Replaced by acronyms and new money. Let them forget. Because I haven't. What they don't see is that the skills that built an empire, those don't fade. Strategy doesn't wrinkle. Precision doesn't retire. Vision doesn't die with youth. They think I've grown soft. Slower. Maybe even stupid. But what they don't understand, and what they will soon come to learn, is that power doesn't disappear. It waits. And I am still power. It's not the grand betrayals that kill you. It's the small humiliations, the tiny, daily deaths that no one else sees. The phone rang once last week. It was a mistake, a spam number. I stared at it for hours after it stopped, hoping it would ring again. It didn't. My son hasn't picked up in months. The last time he answered, his voice was tight. Rushed. Dad, I'm in a meeting. He wasn't. I heard the clink of cutlery. A restaurant. Laughter. I'll call you back. He didn't. I asked my grandson, Alex, to help me fix the Wi-Fi. He stared at me like I'd asked him to build a rocket. Rolled his eyes, sighed, then muttered, "It's not that hard, Gramps." He fixed it in 30 seconds. Then he laughed. At me. "Maybe you should take a computer class for old people," he joked. I laughed too. Then I went into the bathroom and vomited. The nurse at the clinic didn't even look me in the eye. My leg was hurting, same injury I got in '98 when I slipped during a warehouse inspection. I sat there, waiting, forgotten. When I asked for help, the doctor whispered to the nurse. "Get the old guy. I think he's confused." Confused. I built 3 hospitals. My name's on a plaque in the lobby. No one even looked. And yesterday, I dropped a grocery bag outside the store. Apples rolled into the street. I bent to pick them up. My hands shook. A woman stepped over them like I was invisible. A man saw me struggle, met my eyes, then walked away. He saw me. And chose to act like I didn't exist. I went home. Sat in my chair. Same tea. Same silence. Same television with no sound. But something had changed. I picked up my notebook. The leather one. The one I haven't used in years. And I began to write. Date, name, place, what happened. October 4th, Dr. Y, clinic called me old guy, ignored my questions. October 9th, Alex V. My house mocked me, old people class. October 10th, M. Nova grocery stepped over my fallen food. Saw me. Chose not to help. It's not madness. It's accounting. I used to run risk assessments with more variables than this. Forecast entire markets based on small patterns. If I could spot a crash 6 quarters away, I can track who's laughing at me now. I'm not bitter. I'm precise. People think pain explodes. But no, it accumulates. Like pressure behind a dam. Drop by drop. Until something cracks. This is not rage. Not yet. It's awareness. I know where I am now. I know what I've become to them. A relic. A burden. A joke. They want me to disappear quietly. To smile, nod, and stay out of the way. But they don't realize what they've done. They didn't break me. They sharpened me. It happened on a Tuesday. A grey one, like most of them. I was coming back from the pharmacy, a plastic bag in each hand. My fingers ached from the weight, but I refused help. I still do. Somewhere near the corner of Kolinina Street, my foot caught a crack in the pavement. I went down hard, knees first, then shoulder. The bags tore open. Blister packs and peels scattered across the concrete. I reached for them. Slowly. The ground cold against my palms. And then I heard it. Laughter. Not cruel. Not evil. Just detached. Two teenagers across the street. One pointed. He dropped his pills, he said. He probably doesn't even know what year it is. They kept walking. I lay there for a moment, wind knocked out of me, watching my dignity roll away like the orange pill bottle. Then a phrase reached me from someone walking past. No one needs him anymore. They didn't even know I could hear them. That was the last drop. Not a scream. Not a breakdown. No dramatic music. Just silence. Cold and absolute. And in that silence, something clicked. Not rage, that's for the young. No. This was cleaner. Sharper. A sudden return of clarity. Like the fog had lifted. I stood. Slowly. Picked up what was left. Walked home. Put on water for tea. Then, I opened the closet. It had been untouched for years. Behind old coats and sealed boxes, I found the safe. A mechanical lock, no fingerprint, no app. Just numbers burned into memory. 17-46-29, it opened. Inside. A worn leather planner. An old phone, encrypted. No GPS. No cloud. Just contacts. 3 flash drives. A sealed envelope labeled, leverage. My hands didn't shake. I sat down. Opened the notebook. Names. Networks. Favors owed. People I'd protected when they were vulnerable. Men and women who now sit on boards, who run foundations, who smile for cameras and sleep with their secrets tucked under gold-stitched pillows. I didn't just build a company. I built a web. I know things they've forgotten they ever told me. A senator with a bastard son. A CEO with illegal stock movements buried in shell companies. A banker whose wife thinks he's in Zurich when he's in Riga, buying silence with someone else's money. They all owe me. Not money. Loyalty. Or at the very least, fear. I scrolled through the contact on the old phone. Yokova handles digital footprints. Golina D. specializes in offshore structure dismantling. Victor Ghost, don't call unless necessary. My fingers hovered over each one. I didn't call. Not yet. This is not revenge. This is restoration. They took my name off the door. They spoke to me like I was a shadow. They let their children mock me, their savior. They don't get to walk away. This is not about pain. This is about balance. And I've waited long enough. I made the first move at 4:12 a.m. No one suspects anything when actions happen before the sun rises. That's the trick, don't strike when they are watching. Strike when they believe you're sleeping. I used the old phone. No fingerprints. No trace. Just a message sent through a chain of proxies, enough to make it untraceable unless God himself wanted to find it. Initiate asset disruption, target, Volkov Jr. priority, medium. Leverage code, Baltic 97. Simple. Efficient. My son's consulting firm, sleek, overconfident, hollow, was built on an illusion of clean books. I knew better. I built his foundation. I cleaned those books. Hid the early backdoor deals that got him his first contracts. Back then, it was to protect him. Now it was time to undo. Within 72 hours, a whistleblower report landed anonymously on a journalist's desk, complete with records. Not fabricated. Just uncovered. The timing. Impeccable. He was in line for a state development grant. Now. Audits. Headlines. Suspended accounts. He called me the next day. I let it ring. And ring. 2 weeks later, Alex, the grandson, lost his sponsorship deal. A simple leak. One old video. A private group chat where he joked about old people being digital fossils. It went viral. His agent dropped him. The university issued a statement of concern. His face was on TikTok for all the wrong reasons. He messaged me. Hey. I think someone's targeting our family. I didn't answer. Meanwhile, I reached out to Golina. Quietly. She owed me a favor from 2001, when her brother almost went to prison. I made that problem disappear. Now it was her turn. She traced the flow of funds through a shell company connected to my daughter-in-law's boutique chain. Turned out, there were misreported donations from international vendors. Tax evasion, technically. Just enough for an audit. I didn't want them destroyed. I wanted them seen. One by one, they began to feel the collapse, the careful, invisible dismantling of their image. Their networks frayed. Their reputations cracked. Their confidence wavered. And no one knew where it came from. Not once did my name appear. Not in any thread, leak, document, or accusation. I was everywhere, and yet nowhere. At home, the air began to change. My phone, once silent for weeks, now buzzed daily. Hey, Dad, just checking in. Grandpa, wanted to ask if you needed help with anything. Hi, Izidor, how are you feeling today? Their voices were softer. Their eyes, when they came to visit, looked for something they couldn't name, a weight pressing down that made them nervous in my presence. I didn't smile. I didn't gloat. I served tea. I asked about their health. I nodded. But I didn't answer the real questions, the ones buried beneath their words. You see, silence is a weapon most people never learn to use. It unnerves. It haunts. It leaves the enemy wondering if the storm is over, or just beginning. And I am no longer the man they forgot. I am a presence they cannot shake. Their word, once so loud and sure, now holds shadows that whisper my name. No one ever said thank you. Not once. Not when the fire stopped. Not when the storm settled. Not even when their voices, once sharpened with arrogance, now trembled with uncertainty. But I didn't expect gratitude. Gratitude is for favors. What I gave them was clarity. They came together one evening, unannounced, like they were drawn by something primal, unspoken. My children. Their children. All sitting stiff-backed in my living room, surrounded by the soft ticking of a silent wall clock. My son spoke first. Not with the voice of a leader, but of a man unraveling. Dad, we've had a rough year. I think someone's been targeting us. I met his eyes. He looked away. My grandson, Alex, shifted in his seat. His confidence was gone. The swagger replaced with something real, doubt. If there's anything you know, anything you could tell us. I said nothing. I just looked at them. One by one. Let them sit in it. Let them feel the weight they'd ignored for years. No one could hold my gaze for long. Even my daughter, who used to command boardrooms, suddenly found fascination in the stitching of the rug. The silence stretched. Not cruelly. Not dramatically. Just, completely. A stillness that spoke more than I ever could. Then I stood. Slowly. The room shifted with me. I walked over to my desk, opened the drawer, pulled out my notebook, the one with their names, their dates, their moments. I placed it on the table. They stared at it like it was a detonator. I didn't open it. Didn't read from it. Just let it sit there, like a mirror they couldn't look into. I kept notes, I said, finally. My voice was quiet. Controlled. The world forgets. I didn't. I returned to my chair. Saturday. Sipped my tea. Looked out the window. No one said a word. They stayed a few more minutes. Awkward. Fractured. Then left, one by one. Heads bowed. Souls heavy. I didn't walk them out. I didn't need to. In the following weeks, the visits became more frequent. Less performative. They brought groceries without asking. Fixed the leaky faucet. Asked genuine questions. My granddaughter brought me a chessboard. My son invited me to consult on a project, just to hear your thoughts, Dad. But I never answered the big question. Was it you? Because the truth is, it doesn't matter anymore. What matters is the lesson. That time doesn't make a man irrelevant. That silence doesn't mean surrender. That the shadows can still bite. I wrote one final entry in my notebook. Not a list. Not a plan. Just a thought. Old age isn't weakness. It's invisibility. And invisibility is a weapon if you know how to use it. I closed the notebook. Locked it away. Not out of guilt. Out of peace. They still don't know how deep it went. How carefully I moved. How precise it all was. Let them wonder. Let them carry that silence. I don't need to be forgiven. I don't need to be loved. I need to be seen. And now, finally, I am.
Subscribe and like this video, more interesting revenge stories of elderly people coming soon.